I have read the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, over and over and over. And I don't like to read where one brother kills the other one, is a murderer, at the very beginning, and about wars and destruction and death and here and there. And it's just too much for me. I mean, I don't like to read about that at all. I like to read about problem-solving situations whereby we are improving conditions on this planet and so on. And I don't find too much of that, except when Jesus came on the scene, when he was healing and so forth. I mean, I agree with Jesus, because he took part in correcting problems. He gave us a method for correcting problems. And one other thing why I don't like the Bible is because a lot of people, the concept that they have is that they praise and always pray for the crucifixion. I mean, they glorify the crucifixion of Jesus. And I think we should glorify not the crucifixion of Jesus, but the message he brought to planet Earth. It seems like this message that he called the keys to the kingdom that he gave to Peter was lost somehow or misunderstood. We think we have a different concept about that, and if we think we are correct, we must, to test it out, we must solve problems with it, with a new concept. So I have a different concept about the keys to the kingdom. And my concept about the keys to the kingdom is now being practiced by millions of people all over the world, and they say it's tremendous, it's great, thank you for changing my life for the better, in different languages, and that is now in 16 languages in more than about 72 countries now. Can you imagine millions of people using this new concept about the keys to enter the kingdom of heaven that I believed that Jesus gave to Peter and maybe was misinterpreted or something went wrong and we're not solving problems with it. So I praise that message. I praise that discovery of Jesus about the keys to the kingdom. So this is my concept. I'm so much interested in what Jesus did, and when he solved problems mostly and mainly. So I'm on to problem solving, because problem solving is what we need more of here on this planet. We're getting into so many problems that we don't even know when we're going to be able to solve them. So the sooner the better to start converting this planet into a paradise. So this is why I came up with the idea of this little booklet. It's actually a very simple thing. It's only one phrase that I think is of most value in the scriptures, or the New Testament, or Testament, whatever you get out of them. I think this one phrase that solves all problems, you practice this phrase in this, what I call now, the 20th century highly condensed Bible. Highly condensed because there's only one phrase in it. It's laminated. It lasts a long time in your pocket, and read it to others and pass it on to others and be reminded of it. That this is all you need to do, really, to say, for instance, to be assured of a heavenly place in heaven, of being saved and born again, and the whole thing, by just minding this particular one phrase. That is all we need to do to really guarantee our heavenly position wherever we're going to go. Of course, my concept of heaven, if when we pass on to another life, to another dimension, is to be assigned to a better, maybe another galaxy, another planet that's more evolved than this one. So we wouldn't suffer as much as we did going through this one. And then again, in hell, what we call hell, or what people call hell, for me, is a concept of being assigned to a lesser evolved planet or solar system if we did not learn our lesson going through this one. So that would be a demotion as compared to a promotion when we have done the thing that we should do correctly on this planet. And I think that by guiding yourself, by just this one phrase in this little booklet, that's all we need to do to be assured of moving in the right direction and really being promoted to higher levels in other dimensions, God willing. And this is what we can say. What else can we say? The supreme intelligence of the universe is not looking over us every second of the day. Who is looking over us every second of the day is our personal seraphim, or God. We call God my Father, my Lord, who guides me, is my personal guide. And that sometimes that's called God or Father, or simply an angel, or my Lord, or we call it a seraphim, which means a spiritual entity assigned by God over each one of us in the spiritual invisible dimension. Now, this one seraphim has to report to or is connected to a higher one, higher level of intelligence, an angel that governs over our planet Earth. Now, that one angel is connected to and reports to a higher one, which is an archangel in charge of the whole galaxy of ours, the Milky Way. Now, this one angel, archangel, reports to the supreme universal God of the universe. Now, that is the God of the whole universe. Now, that one is never looking at us every second of the day. Who is looking over us every second of the day would be our local or personal seraphim, or Lord or God, or whatever you want to call it. So this is my concept of the connection in the hierarchy of intelligence. There's not many gods. Anybody working for God is a God. We're working for God. We're also gods. And on this plane of existence, we were needed to convert this planet into a paradise. This is why we have been given a biological body. So this seraphim has been given a biological body. My personal God has been given a biological body. So this body belongs to my personal God. So we're connected to God. We're gods also. This is why we have dominion over everything else that has life, not over each one of us, because human intelligence is the highest level that dominates everything else. And we should be intelligent enough to get ourselves out of trouble and not to get ourselves in trouble, and to be able to understand that our mission on this planet is limited. Everything that is given to us is loaned to us. Everything we gain, material gains, wealth, whatever, is limited. It's only loaned to us. It's temporary. We're here today and gone tomorrow. We're not going to be here for a period of 100 years, you know. Rarely does anybody get to live a period of 100 years. So we're saying that we come on our universal path by ourselves with nothing, and we live on our universal path by ourselves with nothing. So everything here is known in the meantime to see what we can do with it, which means anything that you can obtain, material gains, are for the sole purpose of improving conditions on this planet and for no other purpose. They're communicating with their own conscience, their seraphim, their local or personal God, or Lord, or Father, whatever you want to call it. This is the connection to God, to godless intelligence. They have the intelligence that God has transmitted to them, the commander, the one who reigns over the whole universe, passes on to them whatever they need to supply all of our needs. I don't need nothing else but to consult my own personal God that's connected to the hierarchy of God, and that's enough for me to be able to do the right thing. I don't want to do the wrong thing, so I must consult my personal God. Now, how do I consult my God? I go into my inner dimensions of mind, into the use of the spiritual dimension of mind, using the right brain hemisphere is a translator for the spiritual information to make sense to me in the physical side of me. So this is, in order to communicate with this entity, this particular God, my own personal God, I go into my own level, into my alpha level. Why the alpha level? Because here is the connection to the right brain hemisphere. And the right brain hemisphere is a translator that translates the information, spiritual information, into physical know-how, into physical knowledge. So it is here that, like your radio receiver, to get information from space and to be able to get it to a level where I can understand it and hear it. Same thing with television. The information is in space, but we need an instrument to detect that information and to translate it and bring it down to a level where I can see it. It's the same thing here. The right brain hemisphere is a translator between this God and myself, my physical body, for me to be guided in the right direction. And you can never make a mistake by saying that the right direction is that direction that's constructive and creative and alleviates suffering. Because that is destructive and creates suffering is not the right direction. stop smoking for the sake of your loved ones, that really hits home, you know. Because I remember one time that in one class, I instructed a child that smoking was bad and so forth, and should not smoke. Then again, when he got home, he told his dad about it, and his dad called me kind of angry, you know. I have no business telling his child what he should have told the child. If the child is not told by his father, what should I tell him? And the problem was that now the child was getting after his father for smoking. And his father said he had to get into the bathroom and hide from his child in order to smoke now. So that was bad for him, and he's trying to get at me. By what right am I doing this? I said, by the right that we need to correct problems on this planet, and as a human being, we want to correct as many problems as we can, like it or not. But after all, he kind of understood that. Says, okay, I get the message. Keep on going. You're doing a good job. So forget what I've said, you know. He was angry at me because I told his child, tell his father not to smoke, you know. And he was after his father. Every time his father would smoke, the child would say, don't smoke, Dad. Remember, it's bad, you know. So his father would then had to hide from his child in order to smoke his cigarettes. So finally, he gave it up to satisfy his youngster. But his youngster would say, Father, you're not going to live long enough. I mean, if you keep on smoking like this, I want to be able to have you around for a long time. And his father kind of understood that, finally. But he hit home, you know, because when you mentioned this, do it for the sake of your loved ones, means stop smoking for the sake of your loved ones. And that's it, okay? Now, but the other habit, we have mentioned that habits are the most difficult things to solve, most difficult problems, especially drug addiction. Because every time you do something that you like, your body gets conditioned to it. And gets conditioned to it meaning chemically and so forth. Your body chemistry will become altered to be able to counteract the amount of chemistry you have injected into your system. And then this causes your body chemistry to go haywire sometimes in trying to adjust to the new amount of drug that you've taken. So once it has adjusted, you will not feel any so-called benefit or reward or good feeling of a high because your body has adjusted already. Now, when is this high or good feeling come about? It's when you take an extra amount of whatever that is, drugs you're taking internally, and your body needs to readjust. In the readjustment process, it's when you feel that high, you feel so good when your body is doing its job to readjust and compensate for the amount of drug that you have ingested, and your body chemistry will have to become normalized again. So once it becomes normalized again, you feel no difference in taking the same amount of drug. You need to take an extra amount of drug in order to cause your body to change again to a new condition level. So this is very difficult for your body to be adjusting like so, and this is the main problem. So in the eating habit, for instance, we need to consider metabolism. If your ancestors genetically, in your genetic code, has been transferred to you to be like they were, I mean, you're going to have to keep on starving yourself to be thinner than you would like to be. Because actually your chromosomes or whatever, your genetic state is actually asking you to become like your parents were. So you have this code already in you, and that's metabolic processes. So metabolism is what controls your weight. Now, a person that's thin, because of the genetic code of the ancestors, don't care how many pounds or tons you eat, you're not going to get an ounce. But then again, the one who is supposed to be like their parents, if you're thin right now, if you eat an ounce, you gain a pound, and so forth. So be careful about the wanting to be thinner, because it depends also on your metabolic processes and your genetic code. Not everybody should be thin. Your healthy state is what your parents have programmed you to be, and that is your genetic code. So what we're going to do is going to more or less go on it lightly on what you should do if you have a glandular problem and you're overweight because of your glandular problem. But if you're overweight because of genetic code, there's nothing you can do about it. You're going to have to be starving yourself every day in order to be thinner than what your genetic code indicates or requests or is programmed in you. So actually, you have been programmed to be like your parents, your ancestors. So be careful about this. Do not fight it, because if you do, you're going to harm yourself, and you're not going to be in a healthy state if you're going to be thinner than what your genetic code says you should be.
Coincidences are like angels from heaven. They guide you to the right place with the right people at the right time and lead you to success and a more meaningful life.
In this new book, Creative Coincidences, Jose Silva, founder of the Silva Mind Control Method, reveals how you can start influencing the coincidences in your life. It's available from booksellers worldwide, so get your copy today and get started tonight to more success in your personal and business life.